Today we're going to be looking at Madden 24, some of my initial thoughts. I'm going to show you some gameplay highlights of when schemes I've been implementing have been really working, so you get an idea of what plays and whatnot are really good and what's working for me. So first off, I'm going to be playing in these games with the Dolphins. The run and shoot, I'm going to be doing a classic Mouse Davis, and then I'm doing a Fangio 3-4 guide right now. I'm using a playbook for that. But I'm also just trying to play around and see where things are at with it and trying different things. So we'll see some of the things that I've been doing that have been working, some that are not. Mouse Davis run and shoot is the offensive type. It's going to be primarily in the under center run and shoot formations. Here's the guy that's like, hey, I'm going to put everyone in the box. Let's see how that works out for you. Want to run go, and yep, no one is covering that. One area that the run and shoot's been struggling for me has been inside the 10. So that is definitely an area where I need to be getting into the lab and practice mode and just put the ball at like the 5 and try it against all the common defenses I see near the red zone. So, some cover 2, invert, some quarters, some cover 3s, some, cover 0s. Those are a lot of the kind of looks I see. So that's what I will primarily be probably focusing on, plus some random coverages. Yeah, this out route on levels as well as like choice, it's kind of a same route. When it's open over there versus like cover 3 or like 4 drop, it is wide open. So if I see the corners are off and it looks like that maybe one of those two coverages, then that is definitely something I look for. I love that deep over on circle. If you don't time that just right, it can be picked, but if you master that timing, it's really good. There is a little bit in the gun, but I think it was primarily certain situations. This is the end of the half in this game, and I knew I wanted to get to double switch so I could pick which side I liked. Switch is good against cover 1 and 3 seam, again, like always. Choice is pretty good. I feel like I have seen the option routes glitch, but they're not glitching the same way because go is definitely a good play versus cover 3. I hit it big several times out of cover 3. And that one, part of it is having Tyreek, but that's why you really want to have really, really fast guys, especially in the slots this year. And some years it's better to have the speed outside because, if you can beat the press and whatnot, but press is so bad this year that pretty much anyone can beat press, it seems. Yeah, that PA play has that S post, and it gets open really well against 2 high man. You have the fade on the other side that's good against 1 high man. So it gives you a lot of different options. If they're going to bring them all in, then just run that little sweep play. Having A-Chain has been really nice because he's really fast. So for those sweep plays, he can really get to the edge. Plus, any kind of outside run is going to be a little overpowered right now with where Madden is. So if they give you the opportunity to run one of those sweep plays that are in, gun trips or flanker close, or even the off tackle run that's in trips halfback weak, definitely take them up on that and run the heck out of it. Yeah, they didn't even try and play the choice there. That was kind of strange. Like 2 guys just standing around. And yeah, he's just able to get on top of them. That's with go again. Like that route in the past always just kind of ran into the outside third, and the outside third could cover both guys. But I found you want to have the go to the field. That is definitely important. Here I have go, but I'm reading 0, so I put the option right on a seam. On a slant, but Ended up just being able to hit that because they took the slant. But I figured they would either give me the slant or they'd give me that, and they gave me that little sweep route. Well, that's what they call in the shoot. It's kind of a flat route, but it just doesn't hitch at the end. It kind of just keeps building until it hits the sideline. So yeah, this smash play is more viable this year. It was really good a couple years ago. Last year it was kind of meh, but yeah, you can definitely get them biting. Switch is really good against cover three zone as well. You can hit that post right in the seam area deep. I've been able to hit that a few times. Here's another one. If you hit it just right like that, it's a home run. That's just against cover three sky. That is why I don't see a lot of cover three sky in USFL. It's too easy to beat it if you know what you're doing. And no one can tackle him. It's always nice when you can get a short play that turns into a big play because of some yak. And he's free up the pipe. I mean, that baseline stuff will get you in more trouble than it helps. You definitely don't want to try and beat baseline outside because you should. You'll have total leverage, but it never works out that way. So here with my defense, I am working on a full guide on the sAndO 3.4 that will go through all of the philosophy, but basically we're going to use a little bit of one high on rundowns, but for the most part, it's going to be a two high kind of structure. A lot of three buzz, a lot of cover nine show two. Those are probably my two biggest calls, but I'll mix in quarters, cover six, and some different zone blitzes and some different looks. But that is the kind of the overview. And then I'm taking that weak safety who is either in cover nine, he's the inside quarter, or in three buzz seam, he's the deep post safety. And I'm usually doing something with him to manipulate him. One of the benefits of this scheme in real life is if the quarterback turns his back on the defense and he turns back, everyone's in a different place than where they were when he snapped the ball. That doesn't really work in Madden. But what I have found is that if you bring that guy that's supposed to be the deeper dropper, or he's going to be that weak safety in quarters, that guy can often turn into a post safety the way it just kind of works. If you can bring him down, it kind of will screw up how people read the field, and then they'll get confused and they'll hesitate and then they'll wait longer, and then you can get the pressure. And that kind of combination has been really effective for me. You're seeing several clips here where I'm able to cause fourth downs because of that, or I'm getting these, big sacks. That has been kind of my approach so far on defense, and it's been pretty good. There's definitely been a few people that have been able to, outdo me because they have a better team and they know some glitchy plays, but for the most part this has been pretty effective, especially against a lot of the outside run stuff. If I'm on top of it, I have all the tools in this defense, this sAndO scheme, and with this kind of shell to kind of really protect that pretty well. One of the cool things I've been implementing on passing downs, especially with this, is they have a system called Zeus. It's technically a play call. It's an adaptive play call where they call Zeus coverage, and they will then either play out as cover six, cover nine, or quarters. Well, that isn't how it's necessarily going to be in terms of a play call in Madden, but I'm using that kind of structure for how I am calling plays on some of those downs. So basically, if there is an elite outside threat, you're going to do cover two to their side and quarters away from them. And then if there's an elite slot or tight end that you're trying to stop, you're going to run a lot more quarters. So depending on what my opponent's trying to do, I played a few Vikings users the other day that were, really wanting to hit Hawkinson. And I was taking away Justin Jefferson all game, and then Hawkinson was killing me. And I knew he was going to go to Hawkinson, and I was able to switch into that quarters instead of running that cover nine on Jefferson and shifting that focus, that starring him, kind of putting the spotlight on him, really changed everything. Now, obviously, you can tell in these clips, I usually play D line, so that makes me, what most people consider a scrub, which is fine. I don't care. I play D line in real life, and that's where I've always played Madden. I feel weird playing in coverage. I don't really enjoy playing in coverage, but I will do it on occasion when the time calls for it. I just usually find I'm more of a liability than a help. So anything I am trying to teach you as far as on defense, if you are able to be an elite user defender as well in coverage, then anything I'm telling you is going to be even better for you probably. I would suggest at least sporadically, once or twice a quarter, maybe taking the time to do a rushing down on defense, maybe on a third and long. It isn't the worst idea to do that. I promise you, people think the AI coverage is horrible. It's not really, especially if you do things to customize it or spice it up. Sometimes that may be calling cover six and then manning up the cover two side. So it's like two man on that side and quarters on the other side. If you do some, things like that or man locking certain players, it can, give you advantages and disadvantages. That could be very beneficial. And I don't even know what he was seeing there, but we're gonna get them picks. Cover two is really good this Madden so far. If you know what's coming, I mean, you can beat it. But the sidelines are pretty much dead on cover two. At least right now. I'm sure they'll get nuked. But down the middle is where you can attack it really well. So if I know cover two is coming, that's really good. I've been toying with the idea of doing a Tampa 2, but mixing in a lot of the cover 9 show 2 so that I'm kind of always giving that 2 look. That's kind of would work similar to what I'm doing now, but out of a 4-3 look. Because I'm not really running a ton of quarters or just conventional 3-seam. Because I am there's a lot of problems with how match coverage in general is handling compression sets like bunch and somewhat, the tight formations or stacks. I haven't seen a ton of issues with it in quarters, but I know that there are probably a couple route combinations out there. What I'm running generally versus that is going to be cover 9, cover 1, or maybe cover 2, depending on what exactly I'm dealing with. And then my number one coverage versus trips is cover 9 right now, but I'll run some 6. I'll run some 3 buzz occasionally. It doesn't match, but sometimes if they're so used to every time you're there in trips, you have some sort of split field look. Mixing that in is a curveball, even though it will zone drop, can really screw up someone who is used to predicting where your guys are going to be and where the open spots are, and then they force one right to a defender. I've had that really be beneficial for me a few times. So yeah, you'll notice on a lot of these plays, I'm kind of using that too high safety, not this play. Obviously, this is one where we are in one high. There are definitely disadvantages. When you bring him down, if you go too far, almost to linebacker depth, you can get the safety out leveraged in the run game. There's a few instances I've had where I brought him too far down. And on the run downs, that is really great because now that safety can get really involved. But sometimes they'll come too far inside and get stuck in the blocks. And if that running back bounces it outside, now there's no one to stop him other than the corner who's being blocked. So they can give up a big explosive run play if you're not careful. So don't get too aggressive with that. Really, you just want to bring one down a little bit or have control of him at the snap and just bring him down for a false step. You used to be able to bluff blitz any zone defender on the screen, and they would do like this kind of fake blitz and then back up into whatever their assignment was. They did away with that a few years ago, but that's really what I'm trying to give this sense of, is that either that defender's cheating up or that defender's going to take a false step up and then backpedal. And just getting that little bit of counterclockwise motion in the rotation can really screw someone up, because they'll see you coming down, then they're not sure what the other guy's doing. They assume he's going to drop, but then he's coming down instead, and you're spinning up, and it can get quarterbacks all jumbled up, and then they're on the ground, and you're getting 2nd and 17 situations. There still are a couple of those bugs with the option routes. There's the issues with three seam. I think against, a lot of compression sets is really bad. There's glitches where like the corner will just come down and sit on the flat and release a vertical route down the field uncovered down the sideline. It's pretty bad. Quarters is okay, but I think there's a few issues with it. Similarly with bunch, and then there's palms. Palms seems to be all sorts of screwed up. I'm not even touching it. I'm assuming it's going to get patched, but I would, for right now, recommend avoiding palms, using quarters not as a base defense, but just as a, something you sprinkle in or you use for certain situations. Versus 2x2, like doubles and spread, almost anything is going to be fine. Ace, versus most pro sets like, I-form or, some of the wing formations, I think just about anything is going to be fine. So you don't need to stress too much with those. But when you start seeing the tight and trips tight end and any kind of trip set, you need to be a little bit more careful about what you're picking with your match coverage, because you want to make sure you're putting yourself in a defense that is not going to have any weird glitches, for one, that's also going to just keep good leverage and is going to be able to attack what you want to attack. I also have been using a good amount of 2Sync. There's a whole thread on our game plan server. If you're not on the game plan server, you really should join up. We have so many great contributors on there that are dropping all sorts of knowledge bombs. But there was a whole conversation in there the other day about how 2Sync will match or not match depending on what the Mike linebacker, what a wild play. He thinks he's Kyler Murray. Depending on what the Mike defender is doing. If he's in a mid read, I believe they will not match, but if it's on anything else, they will. So sometimes I'll take that mid read player and I'll blitz him, and then I'll bluff blitz one of the defensive linemen, maybe the weak side guy to the running back. That's bad if they run read option, but otherwise I should be fine. And then they'll drop into that 3 receiver hook, or you just put the Mike into a deep third, which is a very common tactic Tampa 2 guys like to do anyways. And if you do that with match on, then you are golden. Yeah, and all of this I'm doing is with match on. I use conservative tackle and I use aggressive option until they show me that I need to do something else. Make sure if you have any questions, you drop them below. Hit that like button. Make sure you check out the game plan server. I mentioned it earlier. It's really cool. We have everything broken down by different schemes. We talk about the latest NFL news, college football. We have real coaches that are talking, what they're planning to do with their veer and shoot offense or their air raid offense, and blocking drills and all of it. It's really great. I also have Patreon. You should check it out. Link is in the description as well. And I just dropped a guide on the Air Coryell last week, and this week I am planning on dropping this 3-4 Fangio guide. So definitely something that I would recommend you look into. I also have dropped several custom playbooks into Madden Share on Xbox. So if you have an Xbox next gen console, make sure you check on the playbooks that I have on there. Just look up my gamer tag. It is Scheme Guide.